because today is one of them days, baby. Y'all see what's in the corner. It's a DraftKings Sportsbook day. That means today's show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, only the top-rated sportsbooking app in all of North America. And I know y'all been watching the hardwood out there, little basketball playoffs going on right now. Ton of action, ton of games, and ton of games coming up as well, right? We know we do a ton of football talk, but it's hoop season right now. It's playoff season right now. So when you talking, same game parlays, live in game bets, adjusting the odds and everything like that, hey, or adjusting the spreads, man, hey, this is definitely what you want to rock with. But more importantly, for my new people out there, shout out to the new customers. They say the only thing better than is new. All right. So with my new customers out there, when you make that first bet of $5, if you use the promo code Moats, you will receive $200 in bonus bets. So that way you can stay in the game and stay all the way active and live during the playoff time frame. But also though, man, shoot, you can get lost in that sauce, baby. It happens to the best of us. But hey, if you do happen to develop a gambling problem, if you live in New York, you see, it's a number that you could text. But for everybody else, the digits to dial are 1-800-GAMBLER. I said a 1-800-GAMBLER. All righty. Oh, shout out to that 6th round. All right. So now it's time for the 7th round. Let me take another squig to say orange. Gatorade. Like I said, I'm going to take a little sip. Drink the whole daggone thing. I got a little thirsty, man. You know how I go. We talking about them 6th round. That's my class. Shout out to them 6th round boys, all right? Shout out to them 6th round boys. Pure bloods, all right? I'm just glad I got drafted somewhere, man. Shoot. The amount of people that never get a chance to get drafted, oh, my God. So when you actually do, you be like, listen, bro, you never turn your nose but when you get drafted because you're like, yo, this is a special event, man. But it is dope, though, all the time, man, to look at some of these dudes. And it's like, yo, this is some legendary names in this class, man, in this 6th round, man. And shout out to the black and gold doing what they did. But now it is time to talk a little bit of this 7th round. All right. Got to talk some of this 7th round. And I was back and forth on, if we should just strictly stick with the 7th round, or if we should, bounce around and add some notables in there, man. And what I mean by notables are those free agent guys that might not have got drafted, but came into the league and had a absolute crazy impact. Okay, so y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. But actually, that is what I did. So I'm gonna just throw that out there on the front end. Okay, so I have it as 7th rounders. Okay, but I'm also going to include a couple of what they call them, honorable mention dudes that I think should still be a part of that, even though they were undrafted guys. They still, or not undrafted guys. Some of these dudes got drafted just later, like super duper late. All right, because we know back in the day the draft went 13, 14 rounds sometimes, man. So some of those dudes that did get drafted, but on the back end, I did still include them in this. All right. And there is one free agent that I did put in there as well. And y'all go see why in a second. All right. But in terms of 7th round draft picks, if we're just strictly talking 7th round, like legitimately 7th round, the first one that I had went of that I thought was a notable name was in 1982, Edmund Nelson, in terms of just having him in the consideration for all time 7th rounders from the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. Like I said, specifically with the Steelers, from there, man, in 2002, I'm like, if we're talking 7th round specifically, you got to bring up Brett Kiesel, a.k.a. the Diesel, a.k.a. the Beard. Come on, man. 2-time Super Bowl champ, 1-time Pro Bowler, 30 of them career sacks, former teammate, awesome dude, man. And got it out the mud, had to play special teams first, man. You ever seen a big boy running out on kickoff? Man, that was what Kiesel was doing up until he got a chance to start shining on defense, man. Like, this the Beard we talking about, Mr. 9-9. Come on, man. Like, Brad Kiesel, one of them all-time type of dudes, man. Some other 7th rounders, though, to consider. 2012 7th round draft pick, Kelvin Beachum. Shout out to Beach, another one of my former teammates, still kicking butt, man, doing his thing out there in Arizona right now. A 13-plus year career and counting, along with over 160 career starts and counting. Out of the 7th round, that is absolutely insane. Shout out to Kelvin Beachum. And then the last one that I want to consider as well, specifically 7th round draft picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tyler Matakevich, man. Shout out to my dog Dirty Red. You obviously know how I feel about him, man. 9+ years in the league, along with over, was it 140 games that he's played in during this time frame? To me, I'm like, I can't just act like that's normal. I don't just act like, oh yeah, anybody could do that right there, man, because nobody does just do that, man. Like when you're talking about trying to get into this league, when you're talking about trying to stay in the league, on top of that, when you're the back end of that draft, man, I always say anything 5th round or later, you are not viewed as a guy that is supposed to make it on a roster, let alone stay in the league and play as long as, you know, Red has been playing 9+ years and counting. So to me, I'm always going to bring up Red, even though, like I said, this is one of my teammates, one of the guys that I just personally enjoy to be around, man. And y'all know he put on that blue and red for a little while too, and then came back, right? So to me, I'm like, if we're just strictly talking 7th rounders, those guys, like, I think are the poster boys for that. But I also wanted to bring up a couple other guys. Like I said, they were still drafted, but they were just drafted later. L.C. Greenwood, 1969. He was in the 10th round. Like I said, we don't do 10 rounds. Like I said, 7 rounds. Been 7 rounds for a while now. So I just throw L.C. Greenwood in the convo because, like I said, that's one of those dudes, man. All-time Steelers great. We know that they didn't necessarily have the stats back then for sacks specifically to this extent that we know he should have had counted. But L.C. Greenwood, man, is one of those dudes that when you listen to the people from the 70s that watched him during that time frame, him, Mean Joe Green, Dwight White and company, yo, LC is one of those guys that they talk about as a staple, as a guy that should be a gold jacket guy as well, man. Like I said, he was a 10th rounder. Another guy I got to talk about in 1971 in the 11th round, Mike Wagner. Come on, man. Mike Wagner, absolute dog out here as well. And the one dude that I wanted to include, like I said, he wasn't drafted, but and he said, I'm going to throw him in that honorable mention of them 7 rounders. Can I talk James Harrison too? Like, that's another one of the ones that's absolutely insane. And the reason why I'm including him instead of like a James Ferry, because I'm like, I'm not talking like outside free agents that you had come in here, you know, in that sense. I'm talking about draft picks or guys that got their start here. Debo was obviously one of them ones, right? So I just throw him in the undrafted / like back end category, man. But in that 7th round, man, or 7th round or later draft pick guys, to me, I'm like, Brett Kiesel is the one that sticks out the most. Brett Kiesel is the one that I'm the biggest fan of. Brett Kiesel is the guy, to me, man, his impact is crazy. L.C. Greenwood, I'm just too young. Mike Wagner, I've learned about their stories. I've heard about their stories, and I think they're all-time legends. I'm just personally, like I said, I love Kiesel's story, man. Like, I think he was just crazy what he was able to do in from that position. It's not something that you typically see. You know what I mean? But, man. But to me, man, those are the guys that I was considering, man, like I said, as true 7th round draft picks. Because, like I said, L.C. Greenwood was in the 10th, Mike Wagner's in the 11th, and obviously James Harrison was an undrafted free agent. But, yeah, any of those dudes, man, I'm heavily into talks with. Kelvin Beachum, though, and Tyler Matakevich, I'm like, yo, that's impressive, too, what those guys were able to do. So you guys let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about this 7th round or later section right here, man. All right? Like I said, if we just traditional 7th round to the real extent, I'm going Brett Kiesel. If we include in the others, then L.C. Greenwood is in the convo, but I'm definitely going to go James Harrison. Y'all know Debo, how I feel about Debo, man. Y'all know how I feel about Debo. Former teammate, now my running mate. Got a chance to play opposite of him, man. Learn from him, study from him, man, and just be a fan, right? Live that dream, man, in real life, man. So, yeah. But let's see what the comments say. What the congregation got to say about this here section here. Steelers Love says, Brett Kiesel for me. Okay. I like it. Skeeter Jones bringing up my man Dirty Red, but also says the beard wins for the 7th round. I mean, Brett Kiesel, like I said, if we're just the true 7th rounder, to me, Kiesel is that. And if not Kiesel, then I lean Kelvin Beachum. If we're just strictly talking guys that were taken in the 7th round from the Steelers and how their careers have played out, man, their impact both in the black and gold, but also league wide, I'm like, yeah, true 7th rounders. Yeah, 1,000% on that. If we include them undrafted guys, though, I got to talk Debo. You know Debo get in there. Debo get in there, wreck the whole list. All right, it's Debo. Big fish. You know that. David Decker says, Brett Kiesel all day fear the beard. You got to fear the beard. You know that. X Concept says, Beach is a vet, man. Quality tackle from day one. No, 1,000%, man. I remember for me, I had the experience of first meeting Beach by playing against him, man. Me and some of my teammates when I was in Buffalo and seeing, how we felt about him on that side of it, but then getting to come here and be his teammate, compete with him, man, practice against him, and then obviously him being one of our starting left tackles during that time frame. Yeah, man, my respect for Beach is through the roof, man, and not just because of the production for the position, but also the size. Like, he's not built like a traditional left tackle or even a right tackle. He's built like a guard, right, or a center, but my man made it where, he's so fundamentally sound and understands, how to utilize his smarts so much that even as a quote unquote undersized tackle, he's still been able to play at this level and play at a high level for 13 plus years. And like I said, over 160 career starts. That is not something that, you could ever just act like was expected or even is just going to easily be replicated. So for the 7th rounder guys, I got to talk about that. And I do see my man Andre Anderson bringing up Ramon Foster as well as one of those undrafted guys, man, day one guys, man. We talked about James Harrison being one of those guys. Ramon Foster most definitely in that convo as well, man. Love the big ragu. Y'all know how I feel about Moan. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Alrighty. But yeah, Skeeter Jones says, Mr. All Chest, No Neck, James Harrison. Yeah. But his back big, though. Debo back big. Like, big. All right. And yes, X-Con says, I'm not going there with you. All right. You got me a couple times. Some of these other names you done brought up. All right. You had me talking about Kendrick Green at one point, and it was nothing. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. And I'm sure y'all did have high hopes, but no, stop it. But I like your style, X-Con. So shout out to you, man, for rocking out the way that you rocking out today, man. All right. Definitely appreciate you. But yeah, Chris Thomas, man, I think that's a great question. Who's the better undrafted free agent other than Debo? When you're talking black and gold, I think that's a tough ask. Obviously, I'm sure all time there are going to be other names that people are going to bring up that I'm just, on the top of my head right now, not thinking of. But Debo is going to go down as one of the best players of all time, right, for his position. So when you're talking about where he came into the league at, and you look at undrafted free agents, how many undrafted free agents do we talk about as being, one of the greatest of all times in their positions? Or at one point in time, because when Debo was playing, man, we were viewing him as the best outside linebacker during that time frame. He was in that convo as an undrafted guy. How many of them dudes you be hearing about like that, man? We talk about 6 rounders and we like, yo, the best 6 rounders. We said the same 2 names for a while now, right? Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, right? So it's certain ones where it's like, yeah, you just the talent that the talent pool that you're pulling from is just not as many productive and names that make a lot of sense like that, man. So yeah, Debo is one of them ones, man. Hey, Kenneth Mose called him Silverback. Shout out to Silverback. Yeah, but I say Debo that had 2 nicknames. Silverback for the OG group, and then for the new wave, we was calling him Debo. All right, so I like it, man. But I'm like, I don't necessarily, I can't think of a better, undrafted free agent than Debo. Like James Harrison to me, but I'm also a massive James Harrison fan. Like that was my guy. I would study his game, man, when I was in Buffalo. Like I said, man, I've told that story before, man. Like that was the guy that I was trying to emulate my game off of. So then to come here and then be able to see him come out of retirement, actually see him retire and then come out of retirement and then learn from him, work with him and grow with him, man. Like, yeah, I don't ever take that for granted, man. Something I always think back on, man, because yeah, Debo was one of the ones. And yes, X Concepts, him tackling the streaker, man, the Cleveland game, absolutely nuts, man. But that's Debo. That's Debo. Debo, the only guy I know, man, was on the cover of Men's Health with 2 pistols in his hand and was basically saying that, yeah, how he felt about Roger. And y'all know how he felt about Roger Goodell. Very different than how I feel about Roger. All right, shout out to my dog Debo, though, okay? But yeah, I like it. All right. But yeah, man, hopefully y'all we're digging that part of the convo, man, part of the show, man. If you were, don't forget to hit the like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel, baby.